What is up? Happy Wednesday. Fuck, it's not. Happy Tuesday evening to you all out there, and welcome in to another draft edition of the Barking Brown Show. I'm Jacob. That's Bill. We're brought to you, as always, by our friends over at SeatGeek. Use our promo code Barking Browns, all one word, at checkout. Get $20 off your first purchase. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Hit that little bell, that little ding-a-ling. And then it'll let you know when we're live and doing shenanigans and posting other shenanigans and shenanigan adjacent things. So, Bill, how are we doing?
We're doing good, Jacob. It's Tuesday night. We're having a little bit of fun with the name of that restaurant that's got all the funny stuff on the walls. The name escapes me. What's it called?
Uh, Shenanigans?
Got it. There it is. There it is. No, but we're here, man. We got the national championship next Monday night. Underclassmen declaring for the NFL draft. The declaration for tomorrow. Everybody except Indiana and Miami is tomorrow. There's still some big names hovering out there. So we figured, why not have a little fun and go 6 burning questions about the 2026 NFL draft? The best part is neither of us know what the other one's going to ask. So this is going to be raw, unfiltered. You're not going to get this left on the cutting room floor. We're here to have some fun. And you know what, man? I'm going to be nice. And I'm going to let you go first.
What's really funny is we were sitting here and we were debating, we were talking via text trying to figure out what we were going to do tonight, and you're like, well, let's just do fact or fiction about some draft takes. And I'm like, okay, cool, we could ask some people and stuff. And then I got to the gym today and I was like, what if I just get 3 questions and he gets 3 questions? We just do it. And so I text you and you were like, okay, so what's the 6 questions? And it's like, no, that is not how this is going to work. And you're like, oh shit.
No.
All right. I'm going to bang you.
Pause.
Oh boy.
We said it was raw and we weren't going to leave it on the cutting room floor, folks. We are 3 minutes and 30 seconds in, and we have already begun. This show's off the rails.
Train is off the tracks, and we are not even getting started. All right. So I'm going to send out a banger question right out the gate. If you remember many years back, Mel Kiper said that he would quit if Jimmy Clausen wasn't
he wasn't a franchise quarterback. Yeah,
he's like, man, I'm as sure Jimmy Clausen as I've ever been of any prospect. If he does not work out, I will quit. I will stop doing this. I won't do it anymore. Give me a player on both sides of the ball where I say to you, if you are right, you get to replace Mel Kiper, but if you are wrong, you're done with draft work forever. Give me one prospect on both sides of the ball that you would hinge your draft analyst title to.
Oof. So I'll start on defense. This one's the easy one for me. Defensively, it's Ruben Bain Jr. from Miami. I don't miss me with the short arm conversation because the dude has learned to win with short arms and he can set the run like nobody's business. If he does not work out at minimum as a run defender in the NFL, I'm done. Because though you watch him set the edge and he does it in such a way that you're like, that dude's going to be a star. Yes, I know he doesn't have the sack production. I get that. But you also have to look at how he wins. You also have to look at what he's asked to do in the scheme. And you know what? There's some games where he looks like an outworldly monster off of the edge. And sometimes he just doesn't get home. But defensively, it's Ruben Bain Jr. Offensively, it gets a little bit fun because a lot of the top offensive guys have questions. Even the top quarterback in the class, Fernando Mendoza, has questions. Is he an RPO quarterback? Is he the victim of an easy scheme? I'm going to say this. If Jeremiah Love is not a
Oh.
superstar at the running back position, I don't know what is. Because not only is he a guy who's effective in space with breakaway track star speed, he's also a hell of a pass catcher. This isn't
Mhm.
Ashton Genty with 350 plus carries coming into the league as a bruiser. This is CJ Spiller 2.0. Give him the ball in space and work. And if Reuben Bain and Jeremiah Love are not studs within 5 years, I just don't know. I just don't know.
You said it. I didn't say it. But yeah, that was my banger.
Yeah. So I'm going to follow up your banger with a banger of my own. We get to draft night. We get to Thursday night of the NFL draft in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Who's the surprise top 10 pick that makes draft Twitter have a literal fucking meltdown?
Oh, there's always one, isn't there? Can I say that I'm not sure exactly? It's not a surprise with the player.
Okay.
But I think it's a surprise with where he goes.
Okay.
Jeremiah Love's going in the top 5.
Ooh.
I truly, you bring that up, and I think about it, I wanted to say Sonny Styles, but a lot of people are coming around on Sonny Styles, so I don't think it will be by the time we get there, I don't think it'll be that big of a surprise. I don't really think people would be that surprised about Mekhi Lemon, who I think is probably flirting with there. You know what? Actually,
oh boy,
I'm going to plant my flag because Corey Kinnan has planted the flag here, and he really got me to go grind the tape. And I heard him talking about this guy again on the Daft on Draft podcast. I will say Monroe Freeling, the left tackle from Georgia.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, listen, you're going to get no arguments from me, dude.
But most people don't even know who that is right now because we didn't think we were going to. And he declared yesterday. And then, like, I've watched Georgia, but, like, wasn't paying a lot of attention to, the left tackle because, to be honest with you, a lot of times there's a lot of players I don't even realize are draft eligible, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Until they start garnering attention. And we're talking about, like Caleb Lomu, things like that. I think people are going to look at Monroe Freeling and they're going to be like, man, this is just like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, he's got the tools, the length, the athleticism, but like top 10. And I'm thinking like it's him and Caleb Lomu were the only first round caliber left tackles. And I kind of think Monroe Freeling might sneak in to the top 10. And I think there's going to be a lot of like, I'll say this. I think he goes top 10 and he's the first tackle off the board. How about that?
God, I love it. I love it. You want to know what mine would have been? I just talked about Reuben Bain Jr. Akeem Mesidor.
I was going to say, are you going to say somebody? Because my initial thought when you asked me that question was I was going to do like a half cop out. And I was going to say, I was going to say somebody, a different edge other than Reuben Bain will go first. Like that was what I was going to say. Like the first edge player off the board wasn't going to be Reuben Bain. Like that was my first instinct.
Like I don't think, I think if it does happen, like if you told me that Reuben Bain went first and then we get to New Orleans and they're looking at Akeem Mesidor and they see his size and that sack number and 48 hurries, they've never been shy about injury concerns or age. They say fuck both of them when it comes to the analytics. If Bain's not there, man, I've got a day 2 grade on him. I think day 2 wise, I think MC. That's why you let us handle the board, MC. Just let us handle the board and we'll figure it out the rest of the way.
Mesidor is the other pass rusher for Miami.
Yes. A 21% pass rush win rate, dude. 21%. Otherworldly. Yeah. Unfair.
Yeah, well, I mean, it should be. He's been in college since I was in high school.
Fair.
All right. If there is a player though that I forget to tell you their position in school, please do call me out for that in the live, because I in the chat, because I do try to do that so that people understand who I'm talking about. All right, number 2.
Okay.
When you're looking there and you're listening to people on Twitter, reading articles, listening to podcasts, who's the guy where you're just like, what? You like that guy? Like, what do you want? Are we watching the same guy? Like, who's a guy that, like, whether it's on the consensus board or just on some, general boards, that you see a guy that's up there that like, people are talking about in the first round, second round, whatever, and you're like, man, I got a 6th round on this guy. Like, who are people in on that you're like, that's dumb?
Oh, man, I'm going to get flamed for this so hard because I know it's going to bite me in the ass, but I have to say it. It's Peter Woods. Like, I hear all of the talk about a top 10 defensive tackle with Peter Woods, and that he's this otherworldly defensive tackle and an interior defender that's going to change the game. I don't see it, because yes, it's a conversation that the defensive tackle doesn't necessarily need to be a pass rushing phenomenon. But a pass rush win rate of 8%.
That's pretty rough. Yeah.
That's pretty rough. And I would excuse it if I had a better run stop rate. The fact is, I've got a run stop rate of 10%. The fact is that I watched at certain points of this Clemson season that he just flat out disappeared from games. Go back to the SMU game. Tell me where Peter Woods was, because I couldn't tell you. Tell me where he was in the Troy game, because, again, I couldn't tell you. He's my defensive tackle number 2. I still think he goes in round 1. But the fact that we're talking about him as a top 10 prospect, this is not Mason Graham. This is not Kenneth Grant. This is a clear, he's not even my top defensive tackle. I'd rather take Caleb Banks, because at least with Banks, I know I have some sort of an athletic ceiling that I can build on, because guys like Banks shouldn't move that way. The fact is, we're taking Peter Woods, and it feels like we're taking him based on the fact that he was a top defensive tackle in the summer, and we just never got off the train.
We just never stopped talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I know it's going to bite me. It's going to bite me, but every time I watch his tape, I just see Daron Payne over and over and over again in the same fashion, in the same way we talked about Daron Payne, and he ended up being an above average guy.
Yeah,
we're going to be with Peter Woods.
10. He's not. No. Well, here's the thing about Peter Woods, that, like, I don't know where I fit, where I like fall in on Peter Woods, because I was told generational all summer, right? Like, that's what we were told. And to be honest with you, when you go watch the 2024 tape and then you project, which is what we do in the summer, that's what we do. We go back and we watch last year and we say, hey, this is the trajectory he's on. So that would mean he's probably going to check these additional boxes that he didn't check in 2024. It looked like a generational style player. It did. And then it just wasn't. Side note question, does Tyson's injury history push Surratt above him? God, no.
God.
And I love Surratt.
I love you and me both. And that's extreme for Surratt. But I'm with you. We had this generational label. We were all told this was going to be Quinnen Williams. This was going to be Mason Graham. This was going to be that. And we never got it. It felt like we got more of Byron Murphy and Darius Robinson than we did of Mason Graham and Quinnen Williams.
You're drafting him on traits. You're drafting him on traits and traits alone. And I love traits on day 2.
And even then, if you're gonna draft somebody on traits, draft a dude who's 6'6" and 330 and moves like he's 6'5", 290.
Yeah.
Draft Caleb Banks if you want to draft on traits.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Yeah.
So, and I'm glad, and shout out to Josh, because he segue in with his question about injury history. Whose medicals scare you the most Jermod McCoy, Jordan Tyson, or Caleb Banks?
Oh God. The thing is, I think it's Jermon McCoy because in the end he didn't play at all, which is not necessarily not a like is not. I don't think you can be too harsh on him necessarily because that is more likely than not the right call um, for him personally, for his health and his long-term outlook and career and things like that. But I can't point to anything in the last 12 months. Don't get me wrong, the 2024 tape with Jermon McCoy was awesome. Like the talking about the corner from Tennessee, Caleb Banks being the defensive tackle from Florida, and Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State. With Tyson and even with Caleb Banks, it's not like there was repeated really gruesome injuries, so to speak, right? Like I come back to this all the time and I cannot figure out how the Titans did this. But when you go back and you look up Caleb Farley, the corner that they took, that was the same year the Browns took Newsome, so that was what, 21? 20,
Yeah, I believe it was 21.
He had what, 3 back surgeries? Or something like that, and he was like 22. You know what I mean? Like, and he was never healthy in the NFL. So it's like, but we're not looking at that with Surratt is not okay. Jeff, here's the thing. Jeff says, "I'll stand on biz. Everyone can lock it in. Surratt will be better than Tyson." He just doesn't have the physical traits. The only way he will be is if Tyson's injury history continues.
Yeah.
It's just the way I look at it.
You look at where I was going to say talent-wise, for me, it's Jordan Tyson and the big thing is it's the nature of the injuries, right? You talk at Jermon McCoy, it's an ACL. You and I talked about it. We talked about it off air. An ACL is an ACL is an ACL. We talked about it with Chris Bell, right? Caleb Banks with a foot injury, defensive tackle at his size, it becomes a little concerning. But Jordan Tyson has a broken collarbone, soft tissue injuries, hamstring injuries, a litany of injuries.
Yeah.
He's got the talent. And you look at the two, since we're talking about him, comp-wise, on one hand, with Jordan Tyson, I have Chris Olave. On the other hand, in Elijah Surratt, I have Dwayne Bowe, the Kansas City Chiefs version. Not the awful Browns version we got. So my question is, do I take the higher ceiling in Chris Olave, knowing that there is a chance I might not see him for a full 17-game season on a consistent basis? Or do I take a little bit of a lower ceiling in Dwayne Bowe, but know that I can, get a full 17-game season? That's the whole reason. Jordan Tyson is my wide receiver 2 right now. And that injury history is the whole reason why. If he was fully healthy and I was confident about it, he's wide receiver 1. We're not even having the conversation.
Yeah. So in the end, I think that's the thing, though. I think it's Jermon McCoy because he was never able to come back. And that kind of scares me and makes me wonder, is there anything lingering into next year? But Jordan Tyson's had more injuries.
Yeah.
Right now I say Jermon McCoy, but do I hesitate to take any of those guys in the first round? No. I'll take all 3 of them in the first round.
And there's precedence for this, right? Because it's the same conversation we had last year about Will Johnson. Will Johnson was a top 10 guy, missed the whole season. And then he ended up going 47th to Arizona, and Arizona has their future cornerback 1 down there. So that's the conversation you have to have.
Yeah, now everybody's looking stupid because the good player was the good player.
Draft good players, folks. You want to win in the draft? Draft good players.
I mean, if like Tyson, because Josh says can't do that at 6, then can you? It's like, yeah, you can. You can. But I would take an offensive lineman at 6 because the drop off at offensive line is steep and it's not at wide receiver. And that's just because you're betting on upside in that situation. So question number 3, and my final question for you here in these 6 burning questions. Tuesday
Ooh.
is who is a day 3 guy
Okay.
that is a day 3 guy for, I call them silly reasons, but they're legit reasons. Like, plays at a small school, only had 1 year of production, or, things along those lines. Like, he's a
Right.
day 3 guy because you're just not completely confident in his ability to project him at the next level. Who's a day 3 guy for you that you will stand tall on that table and just be like, yeah, like this guy, I have zero doubt that this guy's going to at least be halfway decent in the NFL.
Gotcha. So for me, it's Houston tight end Tanner Koziel. And the reason I say that is contested catch demon, like just a literal demon. If that ball's in his zip code, pause, replay it. If the ball is in his zip code, he's coming down with it. Now, is he a functional? And then another pause. Is he a functional blocker? Absolutely not. That's why he's a day 3 guy. Does he have the speed that you'd want for a guy like his size? Absolutely not. But this is a guy that we're talking 6'7", can go up and get it. You watch what Mo Alley Cox did with the Indianapolis Colts.
Mm-hmm,
that's what you're going to get with Tanner Koziel. And if he's 97th overall on my big board right now, and if you told me that someone took him at 97, it might be a better use of a 97th overall selection than last year's was. Just saying.
That's just mean. Yeah, he's a situational guy. And like once you get to day 3, that's what you're doing. It's that you're locking in on like a trait, an upside, something. And then he's the kind of guy that like he had 27 contested catches, I believe it was in 2024, and then this year he had 20. So like the dude's getting you like 4 or 5 touchdowns a year as your tight end 3. Because you're just going to throw it up to him in the red zone, let him climb the ladder, make those crazy contested catches. He's got the length. He's got the hands. He's not a freaky athlete or anything of that nature. But, yeah, man, he's got one skill, and that is me go get ball. And like that works out.
With tight ends with 25 or more targets this season, he is first among all tight ends with 20 contested catches and a contested catch rate of 74%.
Yeah.
3 out of every 4 contested catches that are in his zip code, he's coming down with it.
You're just chucking it up there, man, in the red zone. You're doing it like 4 or 5 times over the course of 17 games, and in some big high leverage situations, I'd feel pretty good about chucking it up to him. So yeah, if I was asked that question, I would have said same player, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So question number 6, the final question of the night. Which position group do you think has the chance to be the one that we look back on this class in 5 years and say, how did we get it so wrong?
Interior offensive line. I didn't even have to think about that. I started hearing recently, I've been thinking for a long time that the interior offensive line class is pretty good. And now I'm starting to hear some people that like Steve Bench over on the McShay show said he's not impressed by like any of the interior offensive linemen. I'm like,
yeah,
man, there's like 30 of them I would take. And especially like, I mean, maybe that's a cop out because I say that, and I know a lot of draft analysts that like it, but it's like, I think there's some offensive tackles that are going to kick inside. I think there's some center. There's like, we don't get a lot of great centers, but usually year after year, I think there's like 3 or 4 of them. Connor Lew tore his ACL, so you don't know where he's going to be. But like that dude, the corner or the center from Auburn, I think he's really good. Yeah. Pregnon from Oregon's really good. I think Vega Ioane from Penn State is really good. Jennings Dunker, I think, is going to kick in. He's really good. Chase Basantis might be the best interior pass rush or a pass blocking player. I know there's some buzz, especially on this show, for the interior of the offensive line, but we're so fascinated with like offensive tackles. And since the offensive tackle class isn't great, I've heard a lot of people say they don't think the offensive line, it's not a great year to need an offensive line. And I'm like, I think maybe in the conventional sense because of tackle, but I've heard some people just, be really down on this class in general and just looping them all together. And I think that, Josh, the quarterback position could be interesting because there's actually some interesting potential guys that could come out. But I think it's interior offensive line. If I had a runner up, I think this edge class is a little bit disrespected.
Yeah. As I say, I agree with you. It's interior offensive line. And I'm just going to run through some names, just rapid fire. Chase Basantis, Texas A&M guard. Caden Proctor, Alabama tackle, probably kicks inside to guard. Jude Bowery from Boston College. Ryan Baer from Pitt. Brian Parker from Duke, probably could play center but play guard. Connor Liu from Auburn center. Jake Slaughter from Florida center. Parker Brailsford from Alabama center. Emmanuel Pregnon, Oregon guard. Logan Jones, Iowa center. One sleeper that I'll throw out. Accepted a Senior Bowl invite. I had a round 7 grade on him and was hoping he would get there. Delby Lemieux, Dartmouth. I'll be shocked when everybody is seeing him in one-on-ones and everybody's like, where did they find this kid? They found him at Dartmouth.
Yeah. I think this interior offensive line class has a really big interesting. Let me see here. Josh says quarterback, the way injuries push backups in. We started out with a massive talk about this class. I bet if you get developed as backups and are forced them to look good. You bring up a good point about the way we talked about this class last year. Like, and this is also, by the way, like people kept telling me like last year, like don't take a quarterback. Next year's class is going to be better. Next year's class is going to be better. And I say never. That is a mentality about any position you can never have because guess what? It's not.
No.
Like it is a little bit because I'm
everything
still, yeah, but I'm still with I'm still Dante Moore at 2 is fine with me. I if he comes out, we'll see that. Like I'm still good with Dante Moore. I'm not gonna crucify him after one bad game. That was really bad, but it was I'm not I can't forget all the other things that I saw, but
yes,
I'm just saying the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Yes. And the only reason that I'm out on Dante Moore at 2 is because I want him to go back to school because you look at who he'd be grouped with in terms of his number of starts. Anthony Richardson, Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Drake May. That is the worst game of Russian roulette at quarterback that you could ever play.
It's very close.
I understand why people would want to take him at 2. I am all for that. I understand the vision. He has a first-round grade for me, but part of that first-round grade is because he plays the quarterback position. If he didn't, he's probably an early second for me because my biggest issue with Dante Moore is he just has not learned how to handle pressure, and in the NFL, it's going to be a problem. And I actually covered it. I'm glad you mentioned it. I actually covered it over on my Substack. If you go onto Substack and you search Spark Scouting, you'll actually see my Substack piece where I talk about Dante Moore and the group of quarterbacks that he joins as first-round quarterbacks with less than 30 starts. But I digress. I will say this. I agree with Josh about quarterback. There's one guy that I love. People vilify me for it, but I see shades of Vince Young every time I watch him play. It's Taylon Green at Arkansas. 6'6", 235 with a cannon.
I was waiting when I said day 3 prospect. I thought that's where he would go. I when I asked that question, I thought Taylon Green was. I thought I knew the answer to that question. I also thought I was going to get a Dante Moore question tonight. I was like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna put me on the spot. I was like, he's absolutely gonna do it. He's gonna yank the robot. Yeah, that is a grand piano back there, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I can play it. Watch. Ding 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 ding.
Sounds a little out of tune there, buddy. You may want to have the help come by and tune that up.
The hell. I just did Dragon Ball Bridge. It keeps kicking me in the dick. Um, we appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you. Make
Yes.
sure you hit that subscribe, give us a thumbs up. We got some great content coming up, more mock drafts, more scouting profiles. Tomorrow, 1 p.m., we'll be live talking about the coaching search for the Browns on a non-draft edition episode, but a regular episode of the show. But we got all kinds of awesome stuff. We love you guys so very much. Thank you for all of the time that you give to us each and every week. We'll see you guys again next time. As always, go Browns.
Go Browns.